There is a version of the future where some layers of management will shrink, but there is no version of the future where work stops needing coordination, judgment, accountability, and trust. That is where I want to start, because when our AI enters the conversation, people quickly ask, will managers be stimulated? I think that question misses the real shift. The better way to think about it is this: the manager role is not simply disappearing, it is changing, because work is no longer going to be done only by humans. Future teams will not just include a manager and employees. They may include people, AI tools, AI agents, automated steps, review points, the same rules, escalation paths, and human judgment placed at very specific moments. So the future manager is not only managing people and tasks, the future manager is orchestrating a work system. And this is a very different role. In many organizations today, managers are already carrying too much of workflow manually. They chase updates, clarify ownership, follow up on approvals, fix handoffs, translate priorities, and even remind people what needs to happen next. Explain what the system should have made clear. And then, on top of that, they are expected to coach, develop, motivate, give feedback, handle conflict, support performance, and even build trust. So before we talk about AI replacing managers, we need to look honestly at what managers are doing today. Because in many places, the manager has quietly become the process. If ownership is unclear, the manager clarifies it. If approvals are struck, the manager chases them. If communication breaks, the manager translates. And if priorities keep changing, the manager absorbs the confusion and explains it to the team. From the outside, you can say the workflow looks like it works. But often it works because our manager keeps carrying it. And that is not management. That is manual workflow maintenance. And it can stay hidden for a long time, especially when manager is experienced and trusted and always available. But the moment that manager becomes somehow overloaded or leaves, the cracks appear. Suddenly the team realizes the workflow was not designed well. It was being held together by a person. I have seen this clearly in HR work around role changes and restructures. Job title is rarely the whole story. The real question is what work is actually moving, who is carrying it, and what breaks when that person or role changes. That is where you see whether the workflow is designed or whether someone has quietly become the system. Now let's bring AI into this. The AI added version of management usually improves the admin around the manager. AI can summarize meetings, draft updates, prepare reports, track tasks, send reminders, flag delays, create dashboards, and that is useful. But most of the time, it still improves the old manager workflow. The manager is still the person everything comes back to. They just get faster summaries, faster reminders, faster dashboards, faster updates about the same unclear ownership. That is the trap. Because AI added management can make the manager more efficient inside a broken workflow, but it may not change the workflow itself. So a manager is still chasing, clarifying, absorbing confusion, you can say, and still translating the system for them. Only now the system looks cleaner. That is not workflow redesign. That is manager overload with better reporting. And the AI native version is different. It starts with how can AI help the manager move when humans and AI are both part of the system. And that shift matters because once AI enters the workflow, the manager is not managing just tasks. They are orchestrating a hybrid work system. Some tasks may move to AI, some information may be gathered or summarized before a person touches it. Some patterns may be flagged automatically. Some decisions may be supported by AI. Routine tasks may be handled by the system. But here, judgment, accountability, context, and trust cannot disappear into the tool. Someone still has to understand what the work means, has to know where human review is required, and when AI output is useful and when it is hiding the real issue. Someone still has to make sure faster work is not becoming more confused work. That is orchestration. And by this, I don't mean the manager manually holding everything together for the team. I mean making sure the right work moves to the right place with the right ownership, with the right context, and the right level of human judgment. This is how the manager role changes from task controller to work orchestrator, from status chaser to clarity builder, manual follow-up, machine to human and AI coordination point. From the person who holds the workflow together to the person who makes sure the workflow is actually working. And this matters because AI doesn't remove accountability. It makes accountability more important. If an AI agent drafts something, someone still has to review it. If AI wrote a case, someone still owns the outcome. If it flags a risk, someone still needs to understand the context. If it suggests a decision, someone is still answerable for that decision. These are not only technical questions. They are management and leadership questions. They are workflow questions. They are culture questions. Because culture is shaped by what the organization rewards, tolerates, and repeats. If the organization rewards managers for always rescuing unclear work, that becomes culture. If it tolerates vague ownership, that becomes culture. Then AI enters the workflow and the same pattern gets a cleaner interface. That is why agentic AI workflow design matters. Because the question is not only whether AI can give managers better tools, the question is whether the workflow is being redesigned around the new reality of work, a reality where humans and AI both contribute, where some work can be automated, where some work can be spotted, and some work must stay human. And at the same time, your accountability must stay visible. The better future is not all removed management layers. The better future is cleaner work design, when the system carries what the system should carry, and AI supports what AI should support. Teams own what teams should own, and managers orchestrate the human and AI parts of the work. So before we ask whether managers will still be needed, I think we need to ask something more useful. What have been making managers carry because the workflow was never properly designed? Because if we bring AI into unclear work without redesigning it, we will not remove the burden. We will scale the confusion around it. And managers should not become the process. They should become orchestrators of human and AI work systems. And in the next episode, I will bring a clear example and will show you how this work and how this will work in reality.